I'd like to call to order Physical Services Committee. Before we start, is there any discussion from the committee members, legislators, or anybody in the audience?
Thank you for letting me, because again, I don't agree with this committee structure whatsoever. Since I'm here, I'm going to say that. But there was an article in the paper concerning the Economic Development Committee that was appointed by the Economic Development and Planning Committee. But I had asked you, but maybe the county executive, because he was in the paper, knows. I found out a lot about the paper, which has been very informative, but maybe I was just looking for some answers because it was coming from the board. There's things that are coming from the board that I'm unaware of. I know I'm not on any committees, so it takes me a little more effort. But Fonda is, and I wish Ryan was still here, they're in a planning. Fonda, they're planning with Montgomery County, the annex building. There was an article in the paper today. There's members of Montgomery County officials that are,
I saw it.
okay, so she just worded it wrong. I apologize.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you. Is there any other discussion? If we could discuss, there is a possibility of hiring possibly some part-time employees over the summer, some summer help, which sometimes we do to ease the load on public works. You each have got in front of you, should have received some description of what it is. Does anybody have any questions or comment about that? Paul, would you like to speak about that? Can you give us a little?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you have in front of you. My request was for a couple of additional seasonal personnel for the special recreational facility that's in our A fund, and basically that's the Canal Way Trail. That requires continuous mowing throughout the summer. Now that I'm down to 7 full-time staff, in order to keep that mowed and the grass mowed at the county buildings, I'm taking trained people that I have mowing grass instead of maintaining the buildings like they're technically being paid to do. I just thought this would be much more economical. I know it wasn't budgeted, but with the work taking place with the addition of the public safety facility, when the bids were open for the public safety facility, one of the options that we did not opt into was the wiring for the phone and computer system, because the numbers were extremely high. So that's something we're looking at doing with our staff. So that's going to take 2 or 3 people to complete that.
So you're looking to free up some mechanics?
So yeah, what I'd like to do is hire some seasonal people to do the mowing, to take the load off of our trained personnel.
And how would they be funded?
I'm looking, for these 2 positions, I'm looking for the funding. We do have some grant money that's going to be coming in that we don't have quite yet for resurfacing the Canal Way Trail from basically Fort Hunter to the western county line out in Mindenville. I will be able to utilize these people to help with that work, so that may be able to offset some of their salary, but to my knowledge, the funding through those grants is not technically in place yet.
And Mr. Quackenbush?
I'm not against doing this, but I would like to see us reach out to the municipalities, like the town of Minden. I know that there's always been a part-time position that would come on in the summer in Minden. I know the village of Canajoharie or Fort Plain has a seasonal position that they put on. Chris Sanders does all the mowing of all the parks. I'm just wondering if in those localized utilize the areas. You're never gonna get them to help you between Canajoharie and Route and all the way down, but at least then those part-timers might focus on that area.
Well, and then there are short sections, the section in the village of Canajoharie that the village of Canajoharie maintains. There's a piece in Fultonville that the village of Fultonville maintains for us, basically from 30A to approximately the village line. And then back toward like where the town Glen office building is. And then there's a volunteer group that takes care of the short piece right in Fort Plain, either side of Route 80. Say from Route 80 to the bridge over the Gaspago Creek, and then from Route 80 to the thruway underpass. But those are relatively short sections on a 35-mile section of bike path. And it takes pretty much continuous mowing. By the time we get from one end to the other, it's time to go back and then start the other end.
Suggestion?
No, but they do. They do help because those particular sections do take
Dave
a
Hart
lot.
would probably help a little bit more since we help him out so much. Probably willing to help go a little further. It's worth asking.
Chairman?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Paul, you said you're down to 7. Was there a reason for that, or
Well,
full-time?
I have 8 funded.
Okay.
But, one of them is out on extended
Leave.
workers' comp.
Is that salary being used?
We did create a helper position
Okay.
with that excess funding.
The seasonal positions were in buildings and grounds years ago, correct?
Correct.
And then what, the Board of Supervisors took them out?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Martin?
So this is for mowing and maintaining, like that?
That's the intent, yes. And if it gets to the point, say we have a long, dry, warm summer and the mowing slows down, then I would use them also to mow here around county buildings, again, to free up the people that are in the contract. Again, it would be funny.
Yes, but we wouldn't have to pay unemployment.
I don't know if they would qualify, would
Well,
they?
you'd have to probably pay prevailing wage and benefits if you were contracted out.
No, or we can.
Anybody else wish to be heard?
So right now you're just working on this one resolution?
Right. No, the $33,500, is that all inclusive? Can you give us kind of a breakdown? It's
That
two
would
people.
cover their hourly salary, say, for the month of May, June, July, August, September.
2 people. What about like unemployment insurance and stuff like that? Is that factored in there, or?
That's not factored into that number normally, and that's not a number that normally appears in my budget. That's a number that appears in personnel.
Personnel. Is there anything else that financial impact with that we would expect?
If I could jump in quickly.
If you would.
Thank you. If these were 2 resolutions that the legislature would like to consider, if I could request that I have the week to get more information on them, get the numbers, get the position number, like get all the details of working with personnel, and bring it back next week for the personnel committee.
I think that's a good idea.
For both of them, I can get more details for you.
Does anybody have any issues with bringing it back next week?
Just add it on to my committee.
Okay. Personnel? Barb?
I think that's a great idea. Could it also be added, the FICA and all of the miscellaneous, which I commend you for. Thank you very much.
Very good.
They wouldn't be receiving any benefits, correct?
When I talked
helpers. They would be funded by CHIPS, correct?
I would utilize those additional people on the CHIPS project so that their fund would be reimbursable through CHIPS budget.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, anybody else have any other questions about those two? Everybody's okay, we move it to personnel next week? Thank you. Oh, would you mind giving us a quick update on Miami Avenue?
That's a subject that hasn't come up in probably 5 or 10 minutes.
You're so happy you got the full position.
Yeah, I'll go back to about the middle of March. On a Friday evening, our on-call foreman got called out to Miami Avenue for a dip in pavement. He went out and put some barrels and lights around a substantial dip in Miami Avenue. Saturday afternoon, he gave me a call. I happened to be in the Amsterdam area, so I stopped over, went down, looked through the pipe. Basically, there's a corrugated metal arch pipe that's 9.5 feet tall, 13.5 feet wide, that the bottom rusted right through, and because of the weight of the dirt and everything, it just kind of folded up, caused the road to settle. Like I said, it's a large pipe. It's 25 feet from the road to the invert of the pipe, and it's approximately 190 feet long, so it's not a small project. We contacted the New York Rising people that we have a culvert enlargement program going through to get it added, to try to get it added to that list, and I think we have. And as we're looking at, right now, the estimated cost for the replacement is in the $600,000 neighborhood. So I contacted the engineering firm that's working for working up with us under the New York Rising program. They've done preliminary survey, preliminary mapping. They've reached out to some material suppliers. They've reached out to DEC and Army Corps of Engineers for permitting purposes, because whatever material we put in there, they have to qualify for their permitting. So while I understand the public's frustration and that it appears that there's nothing going on, there is a lot of work going on to get that culvert replaced in a timely manner, but it's not a small or simple project.
Paul's been great in updating all of us on that and working diligently behind the scenes. So just wanted him to give a quick update.
I asked Paul outside why something temporary couldn't be done there, and could you explain that to me again, because I really don't understand.
Okay, you've got a corrugated metal pipe under the road that is failed. And there's just, because of the depth, to try to put the amount of time, effort, and money it would take to put in something temporary, the permanent fix can be made. And if we didn't have any hopes of making the permanent fix, then we could look at something temporary. But through all the permitting and everything else that has to take place, even for a temporary structure, I think time-wise, we're looking at roughly the same amount of time that the road will have to remain closed.
Thank you, Paul. Anybody else have any questions for Paul? Thank you very much. If there's no other discussion, we have some resolutions before us. The first resolution is authorizing the county executive to sign an intermunicipal agreement between the Village of Canajoharie Wastewater Treatment Plant and the Montgomery County Sanitary District Number 1 for sludge treatment proposal. Martin? Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Next resolution is resolution.
Discussion.
Oh, is there any discussion? Move to full board?
Full board.
Thank you. Now on to the next resolution. Thank you. Resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an intermunicipal agreement for leachate disposal with the Village of Canajoharie Public Works. Martin? Roy? Thank you. Any discussion? Move to full board?
Full board.
Thank you. Third resolution is a resolution awarding the bridge replacement contract to Jablonski Excavating. Which one is that? What location is that?
This is for the two bridges.
Fort Hunter.
Southfield Road in Montgomery and Keelan Road.
Thank you, clerk. Have a motion? Roy? Anybody would like to second that?
I'll second it if no,
So you couldn't
nobody else.
second it if you're not on the committee.
Can I? No.
I'll second. Is there any further discussion?
Question?
Sure.
I'll ask it after.
If there's no further discussion, would you like to discuss?
There was an issue with a Jablonski that contracted with soil and water. I don't know if it's the same company. So I'll just ask after.
Well, we still have to vote on it next at the
That's right.
meeting, so in the meantime, if you'd like to get that information, or if you have information you'd like to share with us, that would be great. Any other discussion? Move to full board? Full board?
Full board.
Thank you, everyone. We have some add-ons also, which are time sensitive. I believe we have only one, right? Okay. And it is authorizing the county executive to sign a service agreement with Frontier Communications Public Safety Building. This agreement includes all additional services required for phone communications for the county departments that will be located in the new public safety building. The financial impact on that, I believe, was $242 a month.